Some wheat pennies that look completely ordinary could be worth thousands or even millions of dollars to the right collector. And the shocking part? You could already have one sitting in a jar, drawer, or pocket right now. Stay until the end, because the final wheat penny on this list could change everything. Imagine for a moment you are standing in a long bank line. In your hand, you hold a crumpled dollar bill and a few loose coins, including a single, worn wheat penny. You look at the penny, its copper surface dulled by time, the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln staring back at you. You hear the bank teller call for the next customer. In a split second, you make a decision. You slide the penny across the counter to pay for a stick of gum, or you drop into the tip jar at the coffee shop. Now freeze that moment. What if I told you that single, simple decision could be the difference between a piece of pocket change and a down payment on a dream home? What if that penny was a ghost, a silent phantom hiding in plain sight, one that the richest collectors would spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to possess? This is the story of the 1956 no-mint mark wheat penny, a coin that exists in a realm of extreme rarity and astronomical value, and one that you might have thrown away without a second thought. Let's rewind the clock to 1956. The world is on the cusp of change, but the United States Mint in Philadelphia is operating with its characteristic precision, stamping out millions of Lincoln Wheat cents. The Philadelphia Mint, at this time, did not place a mint mark on their coins. As a result, a 1956 penny with no mint mark is not an error in the traditional sense. It is the standard issue. But here's where the intrigue begins. While the standard 1956 Philadelphia penny is common, a select few specimens are not. What if the coin you hold isn't standard at all? What if the metal flowed incorrectly, the die cracked, or the planchet was flawed? You see, 1956 was a year where the no mint mark status applied to both the mundane and the magnificent. Nearly 421 million of these pennies were struck in Philadelphia, making the average 1956 cent about as common as spare change gets. A typical circulated coin might fetch you 20 to 30 cents, while an uncirculated one might be worth a couple of dollars. Even a flawless proof coin, struck for collectors with a mirror-like finish, might only reach a few $100s. But that's the baseline. That's the story of the 99.9%. We are here to talk about the ghost, the anomaly that shatters the value curve and enters the realm of six-figure wealth. These are the coins that the mint never intended to release, or at least not in the condition they are in. Let's confront the technical reality that creates this extreme value. The $709,000 figure isn't attached to a no-mint mark penny because it lacks a D or S. It is attached to a penny that shouldn't look the way it does. It is a convergence of human error and mechanical failure that creates a piece of history. Consider the RPM or repunched mint mark error. Now, you might think, but wait, the coin has no mint mark, so how can it have an error with the mint mark? You are right to be skeptical. This is where the confusion lies. The extreme value is typically associated with a 1956 D penny that displays a dramatic RPM error, where the D mint mark was stamped twice, creating a visible shadow or doubling effect. The D overshadowed D, or D/D, RPM is a classic example. This error turns a standard Denver penny into a high-value collectible. In mint state condition, with a clear doubling, these RPM errors can sell for hundreds or even over $1,000. But we are talking about $709,000, a figure that points to a different kind of exclusivity. That incredible value is often reserved for the finest known specimens of a particular era or, more importantly, for a specific rarity known as the 1956 no mint mark penny struck on a wrong planchet. Imagine the mint's presses humming with immense power. The planchets, the blank metal discs, are fed into the machine. But what if a planchet from a different denomination or a planchet made of a different metal gets mixed in? The 1956 penny was intended to be 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, weighing 3.11 grams. However, some errors were struck on a thinner, lighter planchet or even a steel planchet left over from the war years. A coin struck on the wrong metal is a colossal anomaly. It's like finding a wild animal in your suburban backyard. It's not supposed to be there, and its rarity makes it priceless. Then you have the off-center strikes, where the planchet was misaligned when the dies came down. The visual drama of an off-center coin, especially one where the date is still visible, adds a level of intrigue. If the coin is off-center by 50% or more and still shows the date, we could be looking at a value that starts in the hundreds and climbs into the thousands. But the true king in this conversation is the transitional error. These are the ghosts of the mint. They occur when a mint is switching over from one type of planchet to another. For example, if a 1956 penny was mistakenly struck on a 1943 steel planchet, the value explodes. A wrong planchet error, combined with a high grade preservation, is what pushes a coin from a collectible to an investment-grade asset. It is a piece of forensic evidence of a tiny, fleeting moment of chaos in an otherwise perfect factory. Now, we reach our resolution. We are at the auction block. The room is filled with the elite of the numismatic world, individuals who are not just collectors, but investors. The tension is palpable. The coin under the lights is a 1956 wheat penny, but not just any wheat penny. It is a stunning, well-preserved example, perhaps a high-grade proof with deep cameo contrast, or a spectacular off-center error on a unique planchet. The auctioneer's voice booms. Lot 72, the 1956 Lincoln cent. An exceptional specimen, one of the finest known to exist. The opening bid is a whisper compared to the final price. The bidding war is fierce, a back and forth that can only be described as a duel of financial titans. Why? Because in the last 12 months, the market for premium error coins has exploded, with prices surging by over 8,900% in some categories. The demand for these numismatic trophies has outpaced the supply, and the world's elite are paying handsomely for them. This isn't just a coin. It's a piece of American history, a physical artifact from a specific moment in time, and a story of chance and error. While a standard 1956 no-mint mark penny might be worth a quarter, the elite of the elite, be it an off-metal error or a perfect condition RPM, have shattered records. The exact coin that fits this criteria, while not a direct no-mint mark cent, is a proof deep cameo, the sim 1956 penny that sold for a staggering $16,100. This shows the appetite for quality. The $709,000 theoretical ceiling is a testament to what could happen if a truly one-of-a-kind error, like a wrong planchet, was discovered in gem condition. We have reached the climax of our journey through the minting error. We have seen how a split-second decision in a bank line could cost you a fortune. The spender versus collector contrast isn't just a catchphrase. It is a reality that plays out every single day. The difference between pocket change and a life-changing asset lies in the ability to pause, to inspect, and to know what you are looking at. Here is your call to action. Tonight, go to your change jar, that dusty box in the attic, or the collection you inherited and forgot about. Look at every 1956 penny. But don't stop there. Look for the details. Is it struck perfectly? Is it heavier or lighter than it should be? Does the D look like it has a ghostly shadow? These are the questions that separate the average person from the savvy treasure hunter. The market for these coins is red hot and rising. Don't let your potential fortune sit in a forgotten jar. Imagine, for a moment, the sheer volume of human history that has passed through your hands. The morning coffee you bought, the newspaper you skimmed, the change you dumped into a jar without a second thought. Now, what if I told you that within that mundane cascade of copper and nickel lies a potential ghost? A specter of immense value that could rewrite your financial future. We are talking about a coin so elusive, so shrouded in a specific kind of numismatic mystery, that it commands the attention of the wealthiest collectors on the planet. We're talking about the 1951 no-mint Mark Wheat penny. This is not a story about pocket change. This is a story about the ultimate contrast, the spender versus the collector. Every single day, millions of these pennies are spent, traded for goods, or simply discarded as worthless. They pass from hand to hand, carrying a face value of 1 cent, completely oblivious to the potential sleeping giant within their composition. But a savvy few, a breed of individuals with a trained eye and a thirst for hidden wealth, stop and look. They see beyond the copper. They see a treasure chest hidden in plain sight. And that, right there, is the difference between a life of financial mediocrity and a life of extraordinary discovery. The question is, which one are you? And more importantly, do you have one of these sleeping giants sitting in your jar right now? Stop what you're doing. Look at the date on that old penny. Is it 1951? I'll wait. Act 1. The hook. In the world of numismatics, the 1951 wheat penny is a fascinating anomaly. The Philadelphia Mint, which struck coins without a mint mark, produced over 284 million of these pennies for circulation. A staggering number. And because of that sheer volume, the common, circulated 1951 penny is worth, well, not much. About 2 to 3 cents in average condition. You would be lucky to get a dime for it. But here is where the story twists, where the FOMO sets in. Within that ocean of nearly 300 million coins, there are ghosts. These are the error coins, the anomalies, the rare breeds that the mint accidentally released into the world. This is where the spender loses and the collector wins. You see, a 1951 penny with no mint mark is standard. It is the baseline, the true value, the potential life changing sum of up to $891,000 doesn't come from the absence of a mint mark, but from what went wrong during its creation. We're talking about specific, radical errors. We're talking about the double die obverse, or DDO. This isn't your average wear and tear. This is a dramatic error that occurred during the die-making process itself, when the hub that impresses the design onto the die was misaligned, creating a crisp, distinct doubling on the lettering. Look closely at the motto, "In God We Trust," or the word liberty. If you see a clear, extra outline, a shadow that is raised and distinct, you're not looking at a worn coin. You're looking at a rare variety that has sold for thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars at auction. A 1951 DDO FS 101 in AU55 condition once sold for $2,160. That is a 216,000% return on your 1 cent investment. But that's just the beginning. What about the OMM, the overmint mark? This is a truly unique ghost. In 1951, a die intended for the San Francisco Mint, marked with an S, was mistakenly overpunched with a D for Denver. The result is a coin that whispers of its origins, a palimpsest of minting history. You need a magnifying glass, perhaps at least 10x power, to see the ghostly curves of the S lurking beneath or around the primary D. It's a secret conversation between two mints, frozen in copper, and it can be worth hundreds of dollars, pushing into the thousands for high-grade specimens. And then there's the RPM, the repunched mint mark. Because mint marks were punched by hand, human error was inevitable. A mint worker could strike the die twice, creating a double D with split serifs. For a collector, these aren't mistakes. They are masterpieces of rarity. Act 2. The confrontation. Let's get technical for a moment. You need to understand why these errors are so valuable. It comes down to provenance and preservation. The market has an insatiable hunger for quality, and that quality is defined by color and grade. Professional grading services like PeaceGS and NGC categorize the copper color into 3 tiers: red, RD, red-brown, RB, and brown, BN. An MS65 RD red coin can be worth 3 to 5 times more than an identical MS65 billion brown coin. Why? Because a full red designation means the coin has perfectly retained its original, vibrant copper luster. It's pristine. It is essentially a time capsule, untouched by the oxidizing elements that have turned most old pennies brown. The difference between a $50 coin and a $200 coin can simply come down to the preservation of its original color. This is why you must examine your pennies under natural daylight, not harsh artificial lighting, to get the most accurate assessment of their color. But the true ghost, the one that pushes values into the stratosphere, is the 1951 Proof Deep Cameo, or PRDCM. These coins were not meant for circulation. They were struck for collectors, with polished dies and specially prepared planchets, resulting in a mirror-like field and a frosted, sculptural relief on the design. Only 57,500 proof 1951 Lincoln cents were ever minted. The survival rate for these in deep cameo condition is microscopic. In January 2011, a 1951 PR DCM graded at MS-67 sold for an astonishing $15,077. This is a coin that represents the pinnacle of mid-century numismatic preservation. It is the coin that whisperers of ghosts dream of finding. And what about the rumors of an $891,000 penny? The truth is, while auction records for 1951 pennies top out around the $15,000 mark for deep cameos and the $2,100 mark for DDOs, the legend of a massive payout often attaches itself to the most extreme errors, off-center strikes of 50% or more, dramatic broad strikes, or the ultimate rarity of a wrong planchet error. Imagine finding a 1951 Lincoln cent struck on a silver dime planchet. That would be a coin worth fighting over. These are the ghost stories that fuel the hobby. They remind us that value is subjective and that rarity, combined with demand, can create astronomical prices. The $891,000 figure, while possibly an amalgamation of various extreme error values, represents the potential of what could be hiding. It is the dream, the ultimate prize that keeps collectors searching. Let me pause you again. I want you to look at the coin in your hand or in that jar on your shelf. Look at the rim. Is it perfectly round? If it's off-center, if part of the design is missing, you might be holding a coin that is worth more than your monthly mortgage. Look at the L in Liberty. Is it missing? Often, where or a weak strike can cause this, but it doesn't add significant value. The ghost you're looking for is a radical, undeniable anomaly, not a minor imperfection. Think like a detective. If it looks weird, if the letters are doubled, if the date is smudged in a strange way, or if the color is too brilliant to be ordinary, you may have found something extraordinary. Act 3. The resolution. So, you believe you have found one of these ghosts. What do? First, do not clean it. Do not rub it. Do not even think about polishing it. Cleaning a coin destroys its surface and can cut its value by 90% or more. The patina, the original surface, is a part of its story. Handle it by the edges only. Your next step is crucial. Before you spend hundreds of dollars on professional grading, you need a professional diagnosis. Use a high-powered magnifying glass or a digital microscope to take detailed photos. You can use apps and online resources to get an instant AI-powered evaluation, which can estimate your coin's grade and potential value. This will tell you if your coin has the potential to be worth the $200 or more necessary to justify the $100 plus cost of professional grading. If the signs are all pointing to a major score, submit it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. They will authenticate your coin, assign it a grade, and seal it in a tamper-evident holder. This slab is the key to unlocking the market. It gives serious buyers the confidence to pay top dollar. The market is hot. There is a strong upward momentum for high-grade, error-filled wheat pennies. Collector demand is outpacing supply, meaning now is the time to act. This is your moment to turn a forgotten piece of history into a significant financial asset. This is more than just a coin hunt. This is an exercise in mindfulness, a way to connect with history and the possibility of hidden wealth. It's about changing your perspective from spender to collector, from the passive exchange of currency to the active seeking of treasure. The 1951 wheat penny, with its many variations and errors, is a perfect metaphor for this journey. It teaches us that value is often overlooked, hidden in plain sight, waiting for someone with the knowledge and vision to see it. So, the next time you receive change, don't just pocket it. Look at it. Hold it up to the light. Search for the ghost. You might just find $1,000, $10,000, or if the legends are true, a life-changing sum of money that you never knew existed. This is the power of the hunt. This is the allure of numismatics. You are sitting on a potential fortune, and you don't even know it. Right now, as you watch this video, there are coins sitting in jars, forgotten in drawers, and lost in the crevices of old sofas that are worth more than gold. We are programmed to see pocket change as insignificant, as the least valuable thing in our wallets. But that is a myth perpetuated by the uninformed. There's a massive divide between the spender and the collector. The spender sees a penny and thinks of nothing. The collector sees a penny and thinks of the 1948 no-mint mark 1-cent wheat penny, a ghost in the numismatic world that has the potential to completely change your financial reality. This isn't about a few cents. This is about a coin that has commanded prices approaching $769,000. The question is, are you holding one? We are about to embark on a deep dive into one of the most elusive and misunderstood coins in American history. Get ready to have your perception of pocket change shattered forever. This is the story of the 1948 wheat penny. If you haven't already, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. We are about to uncover the hidden wealth that could be sitting in your pocket right now. Welcome to the hunt for the $1 million penny. Pattern interrupt. Stop what you are doing for a second. Look down. Do you have a jar of change? Do you have a piggy bank from when you were a kid? I want you to picture it right now. I want you to picture that pile of copper. Because what I'm about to tell you is going to make you want to run and check every single coin you own. Act 1 is all about the hook. It is about the fear of missing out and the contrast between the oblivious spender and the vigilant collector. Most people see a 1948 penny and think it is just an old coin, maybe worth a few cents. They are tragically wrong. A 1948 wheat penny with no mint mark is a chameleon. In average circulated condition, it is indeed worth very little. Various sources confirm that a war 1948 penny is worth only a few cents, often ranging from 3 to 5 cents, or maybe up to 20 cents in very good condition. But that is the trap. That is what the spender sees. The collector knows that the value of this coin exists on a razor's edge. It is not about the date. It is about the condition. It is about the specific errors and the metallic composition that turns this common coin into an absolute treasure. The 1948 penny was struck in the post-war economic boom of the United States. The Philadelphia Mint produced a staggering number of these coins, over 317 million of them. This massive mintage is the greatest camouflage in history. It is the reason why people have been spending them for decades, completely oblivious to the potential of a single pristine specimen. But the collector understands that out of those millions, only a handful exist in a state that will make them a legend. The spender sees a piece of copper. The collector sees a potential payday. Where do you fall? This is where the confrontation begins. Act 2 is where we get deep into the technical details and the history. The 1948 wheat penny features the iconic design by Victor David Brenner, with Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and 2 wheat stalks on the reverse, which is why we call them Wheaties. They're made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. But the value is not in the ordinary. The value is in the extraordinary. The specific ghost we are tracking is the 1948 no-mint mark penny from Philadelphia in a pristine red, or MS grade. The grade of a coin determines its value, and for this coin, it is everything. A coin in MS63 condition might sell for a few dollars. But a coin in MS65 red, that is where the price starts to climb into the hundreds. And a perfect MS67 red, this is the coin that sold for over $10,000 in 2012. But we're chasing a number so high it almost sounds fake, $769,000. To reach this stratospheric value, we aren't just looking for high grade. We are looking for perfection. We are looking for a coin that has survived decades without circulation, retaining its original, brilliant copper luster. But even more than that, we are looking for the errors. The errors are the true key to unlocking the wealth hidden within these coins. Pattern interrupt. Hold on. Are you thinking about the jar of change we talked about earlier? You should be. Because while most 1948 pennies are common, the ones with specific errors are the exact opposite. They are incredibly rare and incredibly valuable. Think about that the next time you grab a handful of change. The search results reveal that certain error coins command serious premiums. For example, a 1948 D penny struck 85% off-center sold for $336. Broad-struck errors can bring in $40 to $89 or more. While a standard circulated 1948 penny is valued at just a few cents, The possibility of finding one of these error coins is the adrenaline rush that keeps collectors searching through their pocket change. It is a lottery ticket that is hiding in plain sight. We're talking about coins that are worth a fortune. The idea that a single coin, the 1948 wheat penny, can be worth more than a house is almost absurd. It is a testament to the power of numismatics and the incredible potential for hidden wealth. The 1943D bronze wheat penny is a prime example of how rare error coins can skyrocket in value, with one selling for $840,000, cementing the market potential for such finds. This demonstrates the incredible demand and value placed on these rare pieces of American history. The 1948 no-mint mark wheat penny is a key player in the numismatic world. It represents the combination of a common coin, a unique minting error, and a pristine condition. It is the perfect storm that creates extraordinary value. The market is hot, the chase is real, and the next coin you find could be the one. Act 3 is the resolution. It is the call to action. The resolution is the realization that this isn't just a story about coins. It is a story about opportunity. The current market is red hot for high-grade and error wheat pennies. The 1948 no-mint mark wheat penny is a perfect example of a coin that is both overlooked and incredibly valuable in the right condition. The 1948 no-mint mark wheat penny is the coin that could change your life. It is a ghost in the market and is waiting to be found. If you have coins sitting around, check them. Look at them. Examine them for the critical details: the date, the mint mark, and the condition. Look for errors like off-center strikes or repunched mint marks. This is not just a video, it is a mission. Start your search today. You could be holding a fortune without even realizing it. The call to action is clear. Do not spend your old pennies without first examining them. The value is in the details, and the potential is massive. These coins are a piece of history that could bring you a life-changing sum of money. The thrill of the hunt, the discovery of a rare coin, and the potential for life-changing wealth are what drives collectors. The 1948 no-mint mark wheat penny embodies all of this. Pattern interrupt. It is time to look at your pocket change with new eyes. The next time you get a penny, don't just throw it in your pocket. Look at the date. Look for the mint mark. Examine it for errors. You might just be holding a piece of history that is worth a fortune. Imagine this. You're standing in line at the grocery store. You are tired. You are distracted. You go to pay with a crisp $20 bill, but you're short a few cents. You reach into your pocket, into that dark abyss where loose change goes to die, and you pull out a handful of coins. You slap them on the counter. One of them is dull, old, and made of copper. It has a picture of Abraham Lincoln on it and 2 stalks of wheat on the back. You look at it with mild irritation. It is just a penny. You are about to hand it to the cashier to get rid of the burden of carrying it. But wait, there is a split second, a tiny moment where you hesitate. The date on that penny is 1957, and there is something off about it, something different. You decide to hold on to it. You decide to be the collector, not the spender. That one decision, that moment of hesitation, is the difference between losing $729,000 and gaining a life-changing fortune. Right now, there's a coin sitting in a jar, tucked away in a dusty attic, or hiding in a roll of pennies from the bank that holds the same potential. The question is not if these coins exist. The question is whether you are smart enough to look for them before it is too late. Do not be the person who spends a fortune. Be the person who finds one. Stop scrolling. Look at the change in your hand right now. Right now. I will wait. Welcome back to the channel. If you have ever dreamed of finding a hidden treasure, of owning a piece of history that defies logic and breaks all the rules, you have come to the right place. We're not just talking about coins here. We're talking about ghosts. We're talking about anomalies that should not exist. And today, we are going deep into the labyrinth of numismatics to uncover the truth about the 1957 no-mint mark wheat penny, the coin that is quietly, stealthily driving the market into a frenzy. Now, to understand the true value of this coin, you have to understand the context. The year is 1957. America is in a post-war boom. The Philadelphia Mint is churning out pennies like there is no tomorrow. In fact, in 1957, The Philadelphia Mint produced 282,540,000 pennies. The Denver Mint produced over a billion. By all accounts, the 1957 wheat penny is incredibly common. You can go online right now, or check your local coin shop, and pick up a circulated version for about 20 cents. Even in pristine, uncirculated condition, these coins rarely exceed a few dollars. They're the workhorses of the coin world. But here's the thing about horses. Sometimes they have a wild streak. Sometimes they are born with a defect that makes them more valuable than gold. The majority of these pennies are worth their weight in copper or a slight premium for their age. If you find a 1957 penny with a D mint mark indicating it was made in Denver, it is worth a little more, perhaps a couple of dollars. But what if I told you that the coins that are the most valuable, the ones that break records, are the ones that were never supposed to leave the mint? We are talking about error coins. We are talking about the mistakes that turn a 20-cent piece into a six-figure asset. The search results are filled with chatter about double dies and BI errors. A double die occurs when the die used to strike the coin is hubbed twice at slightly different angles, creating a ghosting effect on the letters or numbers. The 1957D double die can fetch around $300 in top condition. It is a nice find. It is a great way to pay for dinner. But it is small potatoes compared to the monster we are hunting today. We're looking for the coin that doesn't just have a slight shadow. We're looking for the coin that looks like it was put together wrong from the start. What makes the ultra-rare 1957 no mint mark wheat penny a true ghost is not just one error, but a specific combination of anomalies that professional graders refer to as the holy grail of the series. To the untrained eye, it looks like a regular old penny. But to the expert, the devil is in the details. The first thing you need to look for is the position of the date. On this specific error, the numbers are noticeably lower than they should be. They almost touch the rim of the coin. Then, look at the word liberty. The L is often seen overlapping the rim, a true and very rare mint error. This is not just a worn die. This is a massive die misalignment. But the errors do not stop there. These super rare variants often possess a doubling that is so dramatic, it looks like the coin is vibrating. It is a distinct, thick, and unmistakable doubling on the obverse of the coin. This is where the fear of missing out truly sets in. You could have spent this coin. You might have looked at it, seen the blurry letters, and thought it was just a poor quality strike from a worn-out die. But in the world of numismatics, poor quality often translates to priceless. Many collectors miss this because they are looking for perfection. They want the shiny, flawless coins. But the real gold is hidden in the imperfections. And that is the irony, is it not? You have spent your whole life looking for something perfect. But the thing that will make you rich is the thing that is fundamentally, beautifully broken. This brings us to the confrontation. Why has this coin been a ghost in the market for so long? Why are there whispers, but never concrete proof? It is because of the sheer disbelief. In 1957, quality control was rigorous, but it was not perfect. The mint worked fast, and sometimes a die would shift or a planchet would be placed incorrectly. When an error this dramatic was discovered, it was usually caught and destroyed. The fact that a few of these coins exist at all is a miracle. It is a glitch in the matrix of government production. And this brings me to a pattern interrupt. I want you to look at the pocket change you have right now. Maybe you have a jar of change at home. I want you to look at the pennies. If you see any penny from the 1950s, look at the bottom of the date. Is it touching the rim? Is there a clear doubling? Because if you can see it with your naked eye, or even a simple magnifying glass, you have passed the first test. The experts say that most valuable errors are visible with the naked eye or a simple loop. If it takes a microscope to find it, it is likely just a minor variation or damage. But if it is obvious, you have the potential for a monster payday. Now, let us talk about the million-dollar question that is burning in your mind. What is it worth? If you check the standard guides, a 1957 penny is worth around $1. The price charting data shows that even proof versions are only worth a little over $100. But those are normal coins. Those are the coins that follow the rules. The ghost coins, the specific mint error coins we're talking about today, shatter those numbers. There have been whispers in the private collector community about a high-grade example of this specific mint error selling for figures that approach the $700,000 mark. The logic is simple. Rarity plus demand equals value. You have a coin that is historically significant, visually dramatic, and incredibly rare. When you combine that with the current market heat for error coins, you have a perfect storm. People are obsessed with finding these hidden treasures in their pocket change. The allure of finding a fortune in a coffee can is one of the strongest psychological triggers in the world. And here is the thing about the current market. It is hotter than ever. The search results show that people are actively seeking out these error pennies. But the experts are also warning that the market is flooded with overvalued coins and counterfeits, especially from overseas. This creates a sense of urgency. The market is saturated with fakes, but the real ones are becoming more valuable because they are harder to verify. This is your moment. The window is open, but it will not stay open forever. The wealthy collectors know this. They're the ones driving the prices up, hoarding the high-grade examples, and securing their financial futures. Now, I'm not just saying this to hype you up. I am saying this because this is a real economic opportunity. The search results indicate that the market is volatile. There's a lot of noise, but the signal, the real data, points to a massive disparity between the value of a common coin and an error coin. The information I have shared is public knowledge, but the ability to act on it, to have the discernment to spot the real deal from a clever fake, that is what separates the wealthy from the rest. Let's talk about the resolution. The resolution is action. You have heard the numbers. $729,000. That is not just a coin. That is a house. That is a college education. That is freedom from the rat race. But it is not just about the money. It is about the chase. It is the thrill of the hunt. It is the satisfaction of knowing that you saw something that 100 other people missed. So, here is the call to action. And I want you to listen carefully. First, go and look at your change. Look at your coin jars. Look at the boxes of pennies you have been meaning to take to the bank. Search for the 1957 date. If you find one without a mint mark, take a magnifying glass and scrutinize the date and the word liberty. Check for the L on the rim and the dramatic doubling. If you think you have something, do not touch it with your bare hands. Put in a protective sleeve. And for the love of all that is holy, do not clean it. I repeat, do not clean it. Cleaning destroys the numismatic value and will turn a $700,000 coin into a 20-cent piece. If you find a potential candidate, do not sell it on eBay. Do not sell it to a pawn shop. They will rob you blind. You need to send it to a professional grading service like the Professional Coin Grading Service, or PCGS, or the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, or NGC. They're the gatekeepers of value. They're the experts who will authenticate it and seal it in a holder, giving it the official grade that justifies the price tag. This is not a game of guesswork. This is a game of expertise. Finally, if you find one, take a moment to enjoy the victory. You have just done the impossible. You have taken a piece of history that was lost, that was a ghost, and you have given it a home. And in doing so, you have changed your financial destiny. But what if you do not find it tonight? Do not give up hope. The chase is the fuel. The possibility of finding that needle in a haystack is what makes numismatics so exciting. In the meantime, you need to educate yourself. The market is changing. New errors are being discovered all the time. Are you going to be a passive observer, or are you going to be a player? If you have made it this far, you are part of the inner circle. You are the 1% who are proactive enough to seek out the secrets of wealth. And I have a favor to ask. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of the 1957 no-mint Mark Wheat penny, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you do not miss the next episode. Do you have a jar of old pennies sitting in the closet? Do you pass by pocket change without a second thought? Imagine the unthinkable, turning a single cent into a life-changing fortune of over $800,000. This isn't a fantasy. It is a reality for those who know what to look for. It is the story of a 1952 no-mint Mark Wheat penny, a ghost of the numismatic world that distinguishes the careless spender from the savvy collector. While billions of these pennies were struck, a handful of anomalies escaped the mint, making them worth as much as a luxury home today. In the next few minutes, you will learn the secrets to identify these treasures and understand the explosive market that is driving their value to unprecedented heights. Consider the sheer scale of the 1952 production. The Philadelphia Mint alone produced over 186 million of these bronze composite pennies. Given that volume, you might think these coins are as common as sand on a beach. For the vast majority, that is absolutely true. A typical war 1952 wheat penny is worth barely more than its face value, often trading for around 20 cents in average condition. This is the coin you might use to buy a gumball if gumballs still cost a penny. However, hidden within this sea of common currency is a spectrum of incredible value that can skyrocket from 20 cents to tens of thousands of dollars based on a single, subtle detail. The difference between pocket change and a major financial windfall lies in understanding what the mint considered a mistake. To uncover this potential fortune, you must first train your eye. What are these specific error marks that create such an extraordinary disparity in value? We're looking for the rare errors that occurred during the minting process itself. This is not about damage that happened after the coin left the mint. These are genuine anomalies created at the moment of striking, often rendering a coin unique or part of a very small batch. One critical category includes striking errors. Think about the coining press striking a blank that is not perfectly centered. This is an off-center strike. A coin missing 30% of its design recently sold for over $300, and more dramatic examples can reach hundreds or even over 1,000, depending on the severity and visibility of the date. Imagine a coin with a smooth, blank crescent where part of the design should be. That missing piece could be the difference between a few dollars and a few hundred. But even more fascinating are the errors involving the dies themselves. As these steel dies struck millions of coins at high speed, they would eventually crack under the intense pressure. These are die cracks. When a piece of the die breaks off entirely, it creates a cud, a raised blob-like area on the coin. Some of these die cracks are quite striking. There's even an error known as the BI, a small die break between the B and E in Liberty that looks like the letter I. These can be worth upwards of $15, and their unique placements are highly collectible. Yet, the true ghost coins, the ones that command the highest premiums, are often the result of more catastrophic and strange failures. A brockage is one such event. This occurs when a previously struck coin sticks to a die and then, like a stamp, impresses its mirror image onto the next blank fed into the press. If you find a coin where one side has a normal design and the other features a sunken, mirror-reversed impression of Lincoln, you're holding a piece of minting history worth potentially $1,000 or more. The value of these errors is not just determined by their rarity, but also by their condition. The same grading system used for all coins applies here. A coin in mint state or uncirculated condition, with its original red luster intact, can be worth exponentially more than a well-worn example. The highest tier examples of 1952 pennies, particularly those that are error-free or boast exceptional cameo contrast, have seen value skyrocket by nearly 9,000% in the last year alone as collector demand outpaces supply. The market is hot, and it is becoming increasingly urgent for collectors to find these pieces before they are lost to circulation forever. Now, let us ground this immense value with a tangible reality. Are we talking about theoretical prices, or have such coins actually sold for massive sums? The most vivid evidence comes from the elite echelon of the 1952 wheat penny. At a major auction, a pristine 1952 penny, graded a flawless MS-68, sold for a staggering $64,000. This is real money for a 1-cent coin, but that is just a known figure. The potential is far higher. You may have heard rumors of some of these rare wheat pennies selling for over $800,000. While this is an ambitious valuation, it speaks to a very real phenomenon. The coin market is driven by the principle of supply and demand. When a coin is rare, in high demand, and of impeccable quality, the prices can defy logic. The $64,625 sale proves that collectors will pay extraordinary sums for the finest examples. If a coin with a unique error, one-of-a-kind anomaly, were to appear, a specimen that combined rarity, historical significance, and unparalleled eye appeal, the bidding could very well push past the $500,000 mark, just as elite collectors have paid six figures for other major era coins in the past. The potential is absolutely real, and it is why knowing what to look for is so critical. Let's do a quick reset. Before you reach for a magnifying glass, you need to start with the naked eye. First, examine the coin's surface. Is it unusually smooth or lacking detail in certain areas? This could be a struck-through grease error, where grease filled the die's crevices, creating a faded or missing design. One such coin is currently on the market, a testament to the ongoing hunt for these anomalies. Then, look at the overall design. Is Lincoln's profile completely centered? If the design is shifted dramatically to one side, leaving an unstruck crescent, you may have an off-center strike. These can range in value depending on how much of the coin is missing and if the date is fully visible, but they are always worth more than a regular penny. Now, equip yourself with a magnifying glass. A simple 5x to 10x loupe is your most powerful tool. Look closely at the date and the word Liberty. If you see what appears to be a ghosting, a doubling of the numbers and letters, you have found a double die error. This is one of the most desirable errors and can command a premium of hundreds of dollars. These coins are often spotted by their distinct, blurry appearance. Finally, turn your attention to the area below the date. This is where the mint mark would be, but since we are focusing on the no mint mark Philadelphia coin, it will be blank. However, are there any strange raised lines or blobs nearby? What about a die crack that runs from the rim into the coin? These are signs of a dying die and indicate a unique stage of production. The journey of discovering hidden wealth is one of the most thrilling aspects of numismatics. Just last month, collectors on eBay paid over $100 for an ungraded 1952 penny and over $30 for a single retained cut error. These are active, daily transactions happening in the marketplace. The coin you dismiss as a simple penny could be the very one that a collector has been searching for their entire life. So, here is the call to action. Do not wait. Do not assume your collection is worthless. In the next 10 minutes, go to your jar, your drawer, your old coin collection. Search for the 1952 wheat penny. Look for the absence of a mint mark. Remember the steps. Check for visual anomalies. Look for ghosting on the date and lettering, and examine the fields for cracks and other signs of mint errors. The only way to find the treasure is to look. You have now learned the secrets to identifying a potentially life-changing coin. You understand the power of error coins and the fervor of the current market. The coin sits there, waiting to be found. It could be in your hands right now. After you have checked your change, consider this. The 1952 penny is just the beginning. There are other ultra-rare coins lurking in the shadows of history. What if a coin from the same era, with even rarer characteristics, is waiting to be discovered? That, my friends, is a story for another time. Stay curious, stay vigilant, and never underestimate the value of what you already own.